All right, so I'm just going to set the scene. 2009 Australian Open final. They were doing the Rafael Nadal tribute today on the weekend on Tennis Channel, and watching that match versus matches today, I didn't see any different. If anything, I saw Federer and Nadal approaching, coming forward, taking the ball earlier, and hitting the ball just as hard, just as athletic, and just as powerful as they are now. Now, coming forward to 2024, almost 2025, the players these days are a little more athletic, they say, but they have to be because they're so far back in the court. So none of them, as far as I'm concerned, in their heyday, Nadal and Federer, in their heyday, would beat Nadal and Federer. Even today, with Sinner and Alcaraz, I can give you some stats. Sinner's average forehand speed is 78 miles per hour. Federer's was 76. So, and we got to remember, Sinner, average forehand speed, which everyone talks about how big his strokes are, was his average speed is 78 miles per hour. Federer's average speed was 76. So you're also talking 76 on the baseline instead of 3 or 4 feet back behind the baseline. So there's a difference there. Uh, Federer's Nadal's was 76 as well. So basically same average speed. If we go into the serves, the average men's serve right now on the tour is 115 to 118 miles per hour. That's the average speed of the men's first serve speed on the tour currently. Federer's was 128. What was his average first serve speed? I'm looking at I'm looking at Google right now. So, well, so anyway, my theory is I'm trying to give you some stats, some data that even early 2000, so 2009, watching the final, Federer's like ball toss was way higher than when he did before he retired. So his fitness level, his agility level, his power level, his variety of strokes level, I would literally question in Federer's and Nadal's heyday at their highest peak that I saw in 2009, between the two of them, they would beat Alcaraz, Sinner, any guy on the tour right now at that day. So, and that's very interesting because the reason why I bring that up is that we talk about generations before that. I don't see Sampras or Agassi. Well, we can talk about them all day. Federer just literally tidal waved them all off the tour. So if we Federer, Nadal specifically in their heyday, then there was Djokovic. So I'm not going to ignore him, but he turned the whole sport around to athleticism, no question. Flexibility, range of motion. He changed the game, no question. So I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm just focusing on two guys that we call the kings of the game at one stage could beat Senna, Alcaraz, and any of these kids these days, as far as I'm concerned, heyday to heyday. Yep. Okay. Right. Mm. Yep. 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 Right. And who's dominating the game right now? Senna, Alcaraz. If I compare the two of them, if we put Nadal and Federer in their heyday against either one of those two, I beg to differ that the young guys would beat those guys in their heyday. So, mhm, mhm. Well, yeah, actually, if you look back in the days, I bet you if you recorded Nadal and Federer from service line to singles line, sorry, center line to singles line and back, you would find they're probably just as fast and just as quick. And how much Nadal and Federer, especially Federer, would take the ball right off the baseline and hit shot selections like they've never seen before. They they just, I'm telling you, if you watched that 2009 and analyzed it, and I'm sure Craig Shaughnessy could kill me and tell me which one's really correct. Yeah, yeah. But if I look at the play and the shot selection off the baseline, things that they were hitting and the athleticism they were doing, the ins and outs, the chop shots, the volleys, I'm telling you, I after watching 2009, I was like, there is not much difference than what I see 20 years, almost 20 years later, 15 years later. I don't see much difference at all. So, yep, yep, yep. That's that's way, way back. Yep, yep. Okay. I wouldn't say it necessarily looks slow, but I would tell you that the shot selection and the type of game was totally different than it is now. I mean, we didn't see Agassi use as much east west as we see now because of the rackets, because of the topspin, because of everything else. Um, Agassi was he was, but it wasn't as wide, and he could hit north south like there was no tomorrow. That guy was clean off the baseline north south. If he wanted to put the ball away, he could do it. So, and then Sampras was a lot of serve volley. I mean, the guy was the absolute legend with the serve and the volley. And then you can go back even further and go to Ivan Lendl, who really didn't play the net at all, but had a pretty average, strong first serve speed and big forehand and big backhand. So, but the pace, you can't relate those. I just don't think we can talk athleticism with them because Ivan was as fit as a fiddle. So was Jim Courier. They were as fit, But the way these kids hit the ball now, as hard as they do, I started watching, like I said, I watched 2009. I was like, and just to clear the clarification, Roger Federer's average first serve at the US Open in 2012 was 128 miles an hour. So it's on the Google right here. I'm gonna, I'm gonna get everybody thinking and talking about it because